What's up everybody, Couch Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down the 3 reasons you couldn't rank up in 2021. Maybe you didn't accomplish your goals, or you didn't climb as high as you think you can. But in this video, we're going to tell you all the reasons you couldn't rank up in 2021 and how you are gonna rank up in 2022. Now, the first problem that comes up so often is not fixing core bad habits. There are so many bad habits that players are making over and over and over again, and unless you specifically try to fix these habits, they're gonna come up. That's what makes them a habit. There's something that you do instinctually, and it takes conscious effort in order to break these habits over a while of trying it over and over again. And the first big one is not properly counter-strafing. Especially when we're talking about ranks under plat, you are probably not counter-strafing correctly. And I know many of you who have heard this haven't actually implemented these strategies, and that's why you are not getting that near first shot accuracy. It is incredibly important for you to do this drill where you walk in one direction to the right, and then you tap the other direction, stop, fire a single bullet or a tiny burst, then you walk to the left and you do the exact same thing about freaking maybe like 4 or 5 feet apart. You're gonna do this over and over again, trying to get the shot grouping together, and then you're gonna speed up. And this is something that you can do to increase the actual comfort level of your counter-strafing and basically use it isolated so that you could perform it in an actual game environment. On top of this, another great way to practice is turn on movement and accuracy for your crosshair and then go to free-for-all and just watch your bullets be first shot accurate. Make sure that you are more on the side of getting consistent 100% accurate shots rather than trying to rush your shots or win the free-for-all. You gotta nail this first. If you don't nail it in free-for-all and in practice, you're never gonna be able to do it when you're under pressure in a real game. Now, the next one, of course, is crosshair placement, which is something that we've talked about many times in this video, but the 2 big mistakes I see with crosshair placement is 1, players holding their crosshair right close to a wall where someone swings out and they basically have to flick really far. It's very difficult to hit. You need to make sure that you are putting your crosshair placement based on where enemies are likely to peek from, based on your past information and knowledge. You're not just trying to hug every single wall with your crosshair. Now, the third big bad habit is not playing towards your role. For whatever reason, you see players will adopt a role and play it fundamentally different than it should be played on paper. This is like a jet that only lurks, or maybe it's an omen that only goes in and tries to be very aggressive, or lurks and dies without smoking for his team. It is incredibly important that when you play a role, you are doing first and foremost what the role is designed to do and what your team needs the role to do. And then there's a lot of places or areas in there where you can put in your own flair, your own creativity, and your own specific type of impact. Like, if you're an Omen player, after you accomplish your job, you could definitely go make an aggressive teleport play. You can be really cheeky with the way you lurk and the way you cut things off, or you can lurk someplace very safe, smoke for your team on another side, and then play for the rotation. There's a lot of different things you can do. However, you still have to make sure that you're filling your primary job first, and you're not just picking a character because you like the character and you're never really learning how your character needs to be a role filler in a composition. Now, before we move on to that last core bad habit, you gotta go check out the GameLeap website right now for high quality in-depth guides, pro match breakdowns, tips and tricks, VOD reviews. We got it on the GameLeap website, so go check it out right now down below. Now, the last bad core habit that you are incorporating in your games, and you're playing without discipline. And what I mean by that is you are pushing for zero reason. How many times have you taken a site and you or someone you know has cleared the site and your team holds the site, you plant the spike, and then you push, and then you die, and then someone else dies, and then all of a sudden you lose to the retake? It is incredibly important that you play towards natural advantages on the board. Playing towards a refrag with your team, playing towards your ability cooldowns, playing towards the refrag ability from an ally playing an off angle. This is very important, and these are core habits where once you get to a certain level, this should be ingrained into your mind, and you might be losing games even if you don't see it, because over and over again, you're losing fights where if you were alive, if you were playing smart, you would have won that fight easily with more economy and ultimately won the entire game. Now, let's move on to number 2, the second big reason why you couldn't rank up in 2021, and it's playing mindlessly. I see so many people that have put hundreds or even thousands of hours in Valorant, and they really haven't improved all that much. While yes, you do learn and improve at a certain rate while playing the game, There's also a certain amount of cementing yourself at your same skill level if you never adapt and thrive. The number one way to break through this mindless playing is by doing self-VOD reviews. Record yourself play a single game and then watch through. Look at every single time you died and ask yourself, why did you die? Did you have to fight that way? Did you have to rotate that way? This is incredibly important. If you have a higher level buddy that is nearby, that is willing to VOD review you, buy them a Discord Nitro and have them VOD review you, and they will definitely help you improve. I guarantee it. This is the best way to get out of your head about just playing non-stop and realize a lot of mistakes that you might not be able to see while you're playing, but from the outside looking in, it's incredibly obvious. Another thing that you should definitely be doing is watching high-level players play. You can't copy every single thing they do because they have really god-tier mechanics, and it's really hard to emulate that just one for one, right? But you can really look at their decision making. Why do they rotate? Why do they use their abilities in certain spots? What situations can they use their abilities and still be safe? These are all things that you can pick up on, and mechanics aside, you can learn a lot from watching high-level players. Now, the last thing, and this is probably the most important reason why you couldn't rank up in 2021, and it's the constant shifting of responsibility to things outside of your control. Whether this is your teammates, whether this is playing against Smurfs, whether this is having a really bad player on your team, whatever the case may be, it's really easy to not look inward and look at your own mistakes and your own play patterns, and instead blame the enemy Smurf, blame the bad teammate, blame a hacker, blame bad ping, blame whatever. There's a million things that you could blame that are completely outside of your control, but that's really not gonna let you improve at all. There's only one way to climb and one way only, and it's going above and beyond in every single game you play. You become a force where if you were on a team up against the enemy team and the system thinks y'all are about the same skill level, you aren't, because you individually are performing at such a higher level every single time. Now, the only way to do this is to become one, untiltable. This is really a big problem where players often get tilted. I know that it's easy for me to get tilted in games, and it's easy for pretty much everyone to get tilted when people on your team are complaining or yelling for no reason. Remember, the mentality of it all can really affect games you win and lose. So if you have to, mute everybody, listen to some tunes in between rounds, and you'll be good to go. On top of that, you need to start eliminating every single one of your silly mistakes. It's really important to think about your plays critically. If something happened and you made a play and it went wrong, ask yourself, was that even an appropriate play to make? Did I not make a decision in time, or did I make a bad decision too soon? These are the hard questions that you have to ask yourself, and the VOD reviewing and the breaking down your bad habits are definitely going to help with that. On top of that, and this is a big one, when it comes to Smurfs, it's very frustrating, I know, to lose to a Smurf a couple games, right? But it is important to understand that there are likely Smurfs on your teams as well. You just don't see them. And the other thing that you need to understand is every single person that has actually ranked up in 2021, every person that started in one rank and achieved their goal, that immortal, that radiant, whatever, in 2021, they had to beat Smurfs. They had to play against Smurfs. They had to beat Smurfs, or every game that a Smurf wasn't in, they had to win. It's like you have to have a 100% win rate on non-Smurf games, or you have to beat some amount of percentage of Smurfs on the enemy team. Basically, thinking about it like that allows you to just think about every game like you gotta win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's Smurfs on the enemy team. It doesn't matter if you have trash-ass players on your team. It absolutely doesn't matter. You try to win anyways, and you do everything you can individually to go above and beyond and carry that damn game and every game you're in, and you will reach your goals in 2022. But to help you, the GameLeap website is the perfect tool. In-depth advanced tips and tricks, VOD reviews, map guides, weapon guides, agent courses, we got it all on the GameLeap website. So do yourself a favor, go check it out right now down below. Now, thank you so much for coming by. Please follow me at Twitter at CoachMillsOW. I love your faces, and I'll see you next time.